Hello guys, let's begin with what we left in the previous lecture. Okay, and in the previous lecture we have completed that what are the general functions of legislature as an organ of government. Now the second organ of government is executive, and today we will see that what are its general functions. Okay, for legislature we have done the administrative actions of it, the judicial actions of it, right, and so on and so on. Now let's move on to this topic. Meaning and components of executive. Executive is referred to as government of a state. In a representative democracy, executive has a broad meaning. Chief function of executive is maintenance of internal and external administration. As we know, executive is for implementing the laws, right? To implement the laws, we have this organ of government, that is executive. And so its main function, chief means main function, its main function is to maintain law and order, financial matters, infrastructure, industrial development, welfare, development of people, in which there are various arenas: health, education, labor, employment, rural and local development. So to see all these things, these are the main aspects of executive: to maintain proper law and order in the country, in the society, to deal with any financial matter, infrastructure, or the industrial development, the local and urban development, employment, job opportunities, forest, environment, defense, foreign relations, all these things are under executive. It can make law, it can pass law concerning any foreign or international relationship that India as a country has to share with other countries of the world. Okay, so if any treaty is signed as an international level, it's signed, it's okay, but for that treaty provisions to get applied in the country, it is important that it is ratified in the country itself by the parliament. So for that ratification, the discussions happen, the merits and demerits of the treaty is seen, and then only when passed by the parliament, then it is said that okay, the treaty is now ratified and it will be applicable in the country premises. So that's how it is done. So any treaty signed or any such international relationship with which country it has to India has to develop a strong sort of relationship, from which country you have to attack. India generally do not attack on the other countries unless there is a pre-attack on its security first, and then only it will be a retaliation sort of thing, right, like it happened in surgical strike that you may know. So all these things are seen by executive. Then executive and its legislative functions. Delegated legislative functions are performed by executive. Now when this word delegated means, delegate means representative. So executive can sometimes act as a legislature and it can perform its functions. Okay, it can frame the order, because framing orders, rules and regulations is generally the part that legislature has to perform. But in some cases, executive also can issue ordinances or it can frame rules and regulations. They carry equal force of law if framed within sphere and policy of parent legislation. So if it is within the ambit of legislature, then the laws which are framed by executive has equal power as the laws framed by legislature. Executive and its financial functions. Executive imposes and collects taxes and incurs expenditure on various activities of state. So what does executive does when it is the financial functions? So financial means obviously something related to money, and how will the government earn money? By collecting taxes from the general people of the nation, from the earning population. They collect various types of taxes: house tax, water tax, income tax, all these sort of things, right? So these taxes only, they help for the government to earn some money, and from that they expend on various arenas, so that that money will be used for the development of infrastructure of the nation. Roads, highways, all these are built by the taxpayers money only. okay, because there is no other source of income for the government rather than collecting taxes from the general people. So executive, its financial functions are that what amount of tax would be imposed and how will it collect those taxes from the people, and also it prepares budget of the financial year, maintains accounts of government departments, and prepares national policies. It arranges financial grants from international entities like IMF, World Bank, etc. So budget of the year is made and maintained by the executive, okay, and various government departments, what are their expenditure, on what arenas they are spending how much, what is the bracket in which they are gonna collect the taxes and spend it on which arena for infrastructure development or whatsoever it is. So that all account is maintained by the executive in its financial functions, okay. And it may also get grants from the international lending companies or lending organizations, that are IMF and World Bank. Everybody knows of IMF and World Bank, right? So these are the money lending companies. If any country is in need of money for its development, or for the infrastructure development, or for dealing with a particular situation, like recently it happened that India also had got some pecuniary help from World Bank for fighting the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So they have lent us money, okay. I do not remember the exact amount, but I know that they have lent money to us for dealing with the current COVID-19 situation. So it happens, just the country has to show proper documents and proper reasons that why it is applying for a loan in these international institutions, IMF or World Bank, whatever. And then if that institution feels the situation is legit and the loan has to be provided, so that country will deal the situation in an efficient manner, in a proper manner. Like there are some situations, if there is not enough amount of money with us, then we are not able to deal with the situation as we could have done if we had that amount of money. So for that, these institutions do help some poor countries or some needy countries rather, okay. So collecting funds or loans from these international institutions, that also happens by the executive and judicial functions include power to grant pardon. Now president and governor of the state have the power to grant pardon to the convicts. Like if there is a convict and he applies for a pardon by the government on advice of the Home Minister or Council of Ministers, the president can or cannot grant pardon to the accused, okay. Like it happened in the Nirbhaya case, those 4 convicts, they applied for a pardon request by the President of India, which was naturally denied. It has to be denied regardless of the advice of the Home Minister. And LG of Delhi also advised. First they applied for LG of Delhi pardon request only, but he had denied. So then they went for the request of President of India, feeling that he would pardon them, but it was not a crime that they have committed. It was not an offense that would be pardoned at any cost. So that request was pardoned from the president's side also, and finally they were hanged till death. Always remember, hanged till death, okay. That is the thing which happens, okay. So grant pardon can be done by the governor of the state in which the suit is going on, or otherwise the power is also in the hands of president to pardon an accused, okay. And it is your homework to see that in which articles the president and governor of the state has the power to grant pardon to the accused, okay. See it, check it. To suspend or lessen, now किसके लिए pardon? To either lessen the punishment term, like if there is a crime for which the person has to spend 10 years of imprisonment and he requests the president to lessen that term. So if president feels like, he may lessen the term of punishment on special grounds or to exchange one form of punishment for another. If the punishment is 3 years, of imprisonment, and the accused is ready to give some sort of fine, and he's saying that just lessen my punishment, I am giving you the appropriate fine for that. So in on special grounds or in exchange of one punishment for another, pardon can be granted or cannot be granted by the President of India as he may feel like. Next topic is general functions of judiciary as an organ of government. Now everybody knows this hierarchy. Supreme Court is at the country level, highest court of law in India. High Court, each state generally has its high court in the capital city, and high courts are at the state levels, okay, and subordinate courts, specialized tribunals are below high courts in the hierarchy. Subordinate courts are basically at the district level, and they are divided into two categories: civil courts and criminal courts. As the word itself suggests, civil courts in which civil related matters, that is family law or family related matters, are heard, that are known as civil courts, and criminal courts in which criminal cases are dealt with, the crime offenses, all these cases, rape, murder, these are crimes. So such cases will be dealt with in criminal court of law. And for civil court, the marriage dispute or family inheritance, property dispute, all these things will happen in civil court. Okay, then specialized tribunals, I told you about tribunals. They are quasi judicial bodies, and they are developed for a certain purpose only, to lessen the burden of higher courts of law, right? Consumer tribunal, consumer forum, tax tribunal, to deal with tax related matters. Generally you can sense that what tribunal is made for what purpose from the first term of its name. रेलवे ट्रिब्यूनल, चोरी हुई रेलवे में, ट्रेन में, तो उसके लिए आप रेलवे ट्रिब्यूनल चले जाइए. कुछ फैसिलिटी सही नहीं मिली, टीटीई करप्ट है, तो देन ऑल्सो यू कैन फाइल अ सूट इन रेलवे ट्रिब्यूनल. ऑल दीज थिंग्स. सो matters related to particular offences can be dealt with in these particular tribunals. The first and foremost function of judiciary is to hear and decide a case according to substantive and procedural law of land. Whatever laws are framed at that particular time when the suit is going on, according to those laws of the country, judiciary has to decide upon the merits of the case and announce that what will its verdict would be as per the circumstances and merits of that particular case. So the foremost and the main function of courts of law, that is judiciary, is to hear the case and to give a verdict upon the case as per its merits and the law which is prevalent at that point of time in the society. Role of judiciary is expanding with expanding role of executive. Disputes may arise among citizens of a state, between citizens and state, among federal units. Federal units means among the governments, between two state governments, or between the state government and the central government, like that happened in CAA. Kerala was the first state under Article 131, which said that we have the right to decide that what policy or what law could be applied on my state. So between a state government and central government, that disputes can also arise between various departments of executive, and in international relations calling for intervention by judiciary. So any dispute between two parties can be taken up to a court of law, and that has to be heard and decided by the courts. Dispute settlement, adjudication require independent functioning of judiciary. Everybody, I think, by far knows, you have studied in your previous classes also, that we have an independent judiciary. We say this, but I think, okay, fine, just leave it. So judiciary is independent in our country, in the books at least. Without political influence or interference, impartial and time-bound justice delivery are essential requirements for the judiciary. So without any political influence, without the influence of the party which is ruling, these judges give their verdict. They are not pressurized or influenced by the parties, by the government, and they are independent of them. Once appointed on their post, they are independent of the decisions that they take. Now second is judiciary and its jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the area or the arena in which they can give their verdicts, or in which they can hear the suits of. Judiciary refers to set of courts having civil and criminal jurisdiction, with expansion and diversification of state and its agencies, and expansion of arbitration and conciliation. Now, these are various others. Arbitration, conciliation are the various methods other than going into a court of law to settle the disputes. If a person doesn't want for a matter to be dragged into the court, and he decides that I will solve this matter, if in case in future any disputes arises among us, then we will be taking this matter to an arbitrator rather going to the court. ठीक है, क्योंकि लोग समझते हैं कि कोर्ट जाना बहुत ही क्या कहते हैं उसको टाइम टेकिंग प्रोसेस है, क्योंकि हाँ ये बात सही है, इंडिया में कोई भी वर्डिक्ट बहुत जल्दी नहीं आता. सो इट इज़ इंडीड अ टाइम टेकिंग प्रोसेस. तो वहाँ जाने से अच्छा है कि हम किसी आर्बिट्रेटर क्या होता है, एक थर्ड न्यूट्रल पार्टी. ठीक है, एक थर्ड न्यूट्रल पार्टी होती है जिसको अपॉइंट किया जाता है, और which has no relation with any of the two parties who are parties to the suit. ठीक है, एक पार्टी दूसरी पार्टी, इन दोनों से कोई रिलेशन ना रखने वाले किसी तीसरे पर्सन को एज एन आर्बिट्रेटर अपॉइंट किया जाता है. He may be appointed by the court or by the arbitrative tribunals that we are having, generally advocates, and so they are appointed the arbitrators, and if they are successful in redressal of the disputes, then it may happen that those advocates are promoted to higher ranks. Okay, so with expansion, diversification of states, agencies, expansion of arbitration, conciliation, tribunals, and various fora have also become part of conventional judicial systems, such as Motor Accident Claims Tribunal, under redressal forums under Consumer Protection Act 1986, etc. So there is an example given. मोटर एक्सीडेंट क्लेम्स ट्रिब्यूनल रिड्रेसल फोरम्स के अंडर है, जो कि कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के अंडर आता है. तो ऐसे ही और बहुत सारे हैं विच आर क्वासी जुडिशियल बॉडीज विच हैव एक्सपैंडेड द jurisdiction of judiciary, you can say, and it is helpful for lessening the burden of huge number of cases that are kept pending in today's date also with the higher courts of law. Then judiciary exercises jurisdiction on basis of territorial limits. Like I said, territorial limits, we have different courts. We have a high court at state level, we have different courts at the district levels, right? So these are what? The territorial limits, that over the country Supreme Court, over a particular state High Court. High Court of Allahabad cannot decide upon a matter or a crime which has happened in Madhya Pradesh, because there it has no jurisdiction. High Court of Allahabad only has his jurisdiction in the suits or in the crimes that had taken place in UP, in Uttar Pradesh only. Okay, no other state will be covered under its jurisdiction of matters. So this is territorial limits. On the basis of a particular defined territory only, the court can decide a matter, then that is territorial limits. Pecuniary means related to money. So related to money limits, like we have, I don't know whether I have given the example in this class or not, but these consumer forums at district level, at state level, at country level, they have different pecuniary limit under which they hear the matter. Like for example, in a particular district, at the district level, 20 lakh rupees is the pecuniary limit for which they can hear the matter, consumer tribunals. Okay, at the state level, 1 crore or 10 crores, I think 10 crores. So these are the limits. You can see 10 crores for country levels, state level 1 crore, city level 20 lakhs, all these things. So these are pecuniary limits. Applicable matters, obviously you know that if a person is not satisfied with the subordinate court verdict, then it may go as an appeal to High Court. If not satisfied with the verdict of High Court also, then it can go appeal to Supreme Court. This is subordinate court, this is Supreme Court. And if not satisfied with the verdict of Supreme Court, then he can file a review, and after that it has no option because Supreme Court is the apex court of law. After you are not satisfied with the verdict of Supreme Court also, you can't go anywhere else. Sub-district, district courts at the lower level, higher judiciary, high court, supreme court, decision given by them is known as judgment, decree, order or award, whatever you may call, all these have same meanings. Okay. Judiciary and interpretation of laws, wherever law is ambiguous or not clear or silent or appears to be inconsistent. Wherever the law is ambiguous means confusion. Wherever there is a state of confusion in the law कि law ये भी बोल सकता है, law ये भी बोल सकता है, तो हम करें क्या? ठीक है. So in that case, after proper analysis, the court itself can interpret that what is the intention of the rule or of a particular section of the law, what it is trying to say, what it is interpreting. That can be understood with proper analysis, proper discussion by the courts themselves, and they can also frame a particular law, like it happened when by the Kerala High Court, right to internet was considered to be a fundamental right? So what is this? The courts have, the High Court, the courts have decided that this could be a law. So they have also stepped into the shoes of legislature to interpret and to frame a law. So that can also happen by the judiciary. So here the chapter is completed. Next turn we will be doing the next chapter, chapter 3. Okay, thank you.